welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today to do my mid-year book freakout tag. This is, I think, the second or third time I've done this tag, so I'm really excited. I love doing this in the middle of the year, just to like gather my thoughts, see where I'm at in the year, and really look at the things I've been enjoying and the things I haven't been enjoying. The original creators for this tag are Earl Grey Books and Is That Chammy, so I will leave a link down below to the original video if I can find it. Also, a lot of creators are doing this tag during this time of year, so many people inspired me to do this tag. So let's get straight into the questions, with the first question being, how has your 2023 reading gone so far? Overall, I would say it's pretty typical to any other year. My average is around a 3.5. I have quite a few 3 stars this year, and I don't have a lot of 5 stars, but I feel like that is fairly typical of me. I'm trying to read more 5-star predictions this year. I do find I tend to read more 5-star books in the latter half of the year, so I feel like more successful reads are coming. Right now it is the middle of summer, and in summer I tend to get really slumpy, but this is super normal too. I know it's going to be fixed once summer is over, once I'm in a cozier reading mood and less of a like party, let's get drunk type of vibes. So with that being said, the second question to this tag is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2022?
I meant 2023.
I have 3 options for this because I just couldn't pick one. The nonfiction that really stands out to me this year is Be Not Afraid of Love by Mimi Xu. This is a nonfiction book that focuses on being okay with opening up and being vulnerable and accepting love, specifically after a traumatizing relationship. I myself have personally been through traumatizing relationships, and this is something that I do struggle with. I do struggle with being vulnerable. This book read me to filth. I tabbed it like crazy. I really enjoyed this book, and I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a really interesting and introspective nonfiction book. If you're looking for an excellent YA book that I gave 5 stars this year, which is a feat in itself because I feel like I'm really moving away from YA books, it is Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. This follows a young boy named Darius who feels sort of out of touch with his Persian family and is struggling with his depression, feels like he doesn't fit in, feels like he's really in conflict with his father. His mother decides to take the entire family to Iran in order to visit Darius's grandparents, and there Darius sort of finds himself, finds his happiness. I thought this was a really excellent book, and the way Adib Khorram discusses depression in this book feels really personal, and I really related to it. I really love this book. It made me cry. So that's an answer, by the way, to one of the questions in this tag. It's this one. I'm spoiling you now. But this was really cute, really beautiful. A lot of people hyped this up, and I really didn't think I was going to enjoy a YA contemporary as much as I did, but I absolutely adore this one and I would recommend it. And then R.F. Kuang has never not made this list for me, so of course I had to include Yellowface. This is her literary mystery thrillery debut, and it follows a woman named June who is friends with a literary darling named Athena. Athena has written multiple successful books where June is really struggling. One day when June witnesses Athena dying, she decides to steal Athena's manuscript and pass it off as her own. This book really dives into publishing, the problem with publishing, the internalized racism within publishing, the problem of publishing being a business. A lot of this is very quick and witty and smart, and I enjoyed this a whole lot. I think if you haven't picked it up yet, I would highly recommend it. I think it makes for very interesting discussions. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite books of the year. The next question is the best sequel you've read so far in 2023. I haven't read a lot of sequels, but in January, for the start of my Finish This Book Series With Me series that I'm starting, I will leave a link to that video up above. I finished the Themis Files, and Waking Gods was definitely the highlight of that video. It was such a solid sequel to Sleeping Giants. I think it really did a great job at keeping hold of the world that we enjoyed in Sleeping Giants in the first book, while also opening up this entire new universe and entirely new discussions and scientific revelations that lead into the finale book. I thought usually middle books are not my favorite books. They are not the books that I tend to lean towards or enjoy, but this one really surprised me. It was a solid middle book, and I think it really did what middle books need to do, which is end a first arc and start a new one and this was excellent. I highly recommend the Themis Files series as a whole, but this was an excellent sequel. The next question is a new 2020 release that you have not read yet but want to.
2023 OMGYIEI.
For this, I'm gonna go with Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. I have loved everything from Fonda Lee I have ever read. I just haven't been able to find this one at a good price. It's always on hold at the library, so I just have not been reading it because I don't have it right now. So Esther's family was torn apart when a manticore killed her mother and baby brother, leaving her with nothing but her father's painful silence and a single overwhelming need to kill the monsters that took her family. It sounds amazing. It's a short novella, so I'm very, very excited to read from it. I've read a previous novella from Fonda Lee this year, loved it, so I know that I will probably adore this one too. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I have 3 books for this one. So the number 1 release that I have, and out of all of these books, if I don't read this one, I am a failure. But it is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab, the continuation or the start of the next series in the A Darker Shade of Magic series. I cannot express how excited I am for the series. If you didn't know this about me, the A Dark Shade of Magic series is my favorite fantasy series of all time. V.E. Schwab is my favorite author of all time. So you could say that this is equivalent to me going on the red carpet and like meeting my favorite celebrity. Like, I'm so excited to read this book. It's unbelievable. So this book seems to take place 7 years after the finale of the A Dark Shade of Magic series, and the 3 Ontari I feel like that's a spoiler if I continue with it. Anyways, 3 Ontari have not been seen in many years, and now there is a new Ontari named Kosika who has appeared in White London, taking the throne in Holland's absence. The young queen is willing to feed her city with blood, including her own, but her growing religious fervor has the potential to drown them instead. And back in Red London, Raimaresh is threatened by a rising rebellion, one determined to correct the balance of power by raising the throne entirely. This sounds amazing, and that's definitely going to be my favorite book of the year, I can already tell you. The next anticipated release I have is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. This is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, which was one of my favorite books of last year, so you bet I'm definitely excited to read the prequel. Viv's career with the notorious mercenary company Rakam's Ravens isn't going as planned. Wounded during the hunt for a powerful necromancer, she's packed off against her will to recuperate in the sleepy beach town of Merk, so far from the action that she's worried she'll never be able to return to it. What's a thwarted soldier of fortune to do? Spending her hours at a beleaguered, I don't know what that word is, bookshop in the company of its foul-mouthed proprietor, oh my god, can I read? Is the last thing Viv would have predicted, but it may be both exactly what she needs and the seed of changes she couldn't possibly imagine. This sounds really cute, and it seems like another cozy type of fantasy, so definitely one I'll be picking up in November. And then the last highly anticipated release for the second half of 2023 is Rouge by Mona Awad. I love Mona Awad. I've read every book that she's ever published, and I have pretty much enjoyed every book she's ever published. Definitely one of my favorite authors, but I don't actually know what this is about. From the critically acclaimed author of Bunny comes a horror-tinted gothic fairy tale about the lonely dress shop clerk whose mother's unexpected death sends her down a treacherous path in pursuit of youth and beauty. Can she escape her mother's fate and find a connection that is more than skin deep? For as long as she can remember, Belle has been insidiously obsessed with her skin and skincare videos. Interesting. Is this a Beauty and the Beast retelling? I did not know that, but color me intrigued. This book also comes out in September along with Threads of Power, so that month will be packed for me to read these books. The next question is the biggest disappointment of 2023, and for me, it's definitely Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is a novel that follows a coffee shop where they have rumors that they are able to send customers back in time and they can time travel as long as the customers return within a reasonable amount of time before the coffee gets cold and understand that they actually cannot change the future. They can only go back and revisit moments in the past. I thought I was gonna cry. Everybody cries when they read this book. I don't get it. If you like this book, I'm very happy for you. I personally didn't, and that's why it really disappointed me. I was really expecting to absolutely devour this and love this, and it just didn't do for me what it does for everybody else. Next is the biggest surprises of 2023 so far, and I have 2 for this as well. The first book is Briardark by S.A. Harion. This is like a survivalist horror book where a group of people are going to this specific area in the mountain to observe like the genealogy and whatnot. And there's another timeline where a worker of IT discovers a hard drive with all of the lost files of this specific expedition. I didn't expect to absolutely devour this book and love this book, and it really impressed me to the point that I think I'm going to continue with the series as it comes out. It was so fascinating, so interesting. The writing was amazing, the plot was amazing, and I think if you're looking for a survivalist horror book, this was really interesting, and I would highly recommend it. Another surprise this year was Honor Splendor by Julie Garwood. This is a historical fantasy that follows a lady named Madeline who suffers the cruel whims of her worthless brother. But then, in vengeance for a bitter crime, Baron Duncan of Wexton, the Wolf, unleashed his warriors against Loudon's domain, and Madeline was the prize he captured. This was the most amazing historical romance book I have ever read, and specifically that I read for that vlog, which I will leave linked up above. It was so feminist, it was so progressive, so interesting. The story was captivating. The characters were so in love, and it was a love that made sense. I absolutely adore this. I was so surprised that I love this. It was the complete success of that vlog. And I think if you're looking for a really progressive and fun historical fantasy, honestly, I would highly recommend. The next question is favorite new author, new to you or debut. I have two for this answer, of course, because I can't answer any of these questions without giving multiple responses. I wouldn't say that these two are new favorite authors because I've only read one book from them each, but they are definitely authors that I am intrigued by. The first one is Tamsin Muir for Gideon the Ninth. I just finished reading this and I absolutely adored it. I thought it was so fun. The plot and the character and the experiences that Gideon goes through along with Harrow in this book to be really interesting, really fascinating. The world that Tamsin Muir created in this book was really interesting. The way that she writes is so funny and I just absolutely adored it. So I'm very interested to continue on with this series specifically. And I'm also going to throw Grady Hendrix into the mix. I really enjoyed Horror Store for the same reasons that I enjoyed Gideon the Ninth. These are campy, they're comedy. This is about a haunted store that's kind of like IKEA, and I just thought it was actually genuinely so scary, but campy at the same time. And I'm very excited to pick up from Grady Hendrix, even though I haven't heard the best things of all his books. I'm excited to pick them up because I definitely think I could enjoy his writing style. The next question is newest fictional crush or new favorite character. I'm gonna merge them together because the answer is Gideon. She made me laugh. I am a sucker for comedians and people that can make me laugh. That's how you get me, and Gideon did that. The next question is a book that made you cry, and for that I'm just gonna go ahead and say Darius the Great is Not Okay. It's one of the only books I remember crying to this year. Loved it. Just the representation was so good, and like I said before, I would highly recommend. The next question is a book you saw on TikTok and regret reading. I don't remember this being an original question, and I don't remember whose video I copied these from, but I would have said Fourth Wing if I would have bought it, but then a lot of my friends were reading it and not enjoying it as much. So they really saved me. The people I trust really saved me. The next question is the most beautiful book you bought this year, and it definitely is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. The Kickstarter editions, I just think that this book is absolutely beautiful, and I don't regret a single second or a single dime of the money that I gave. Like, look at this. Also, the story is super cute. It's like kind of The Princess Bride, except Tress goes off to find the love of her life on a like piratey ship adventure, and it's super fun, so cute, and really ties into the Cosmere in a fascinating and interesting way. So if you're into the Cosmere and you've been thinking about skipping these books, I would give this one a go. Not only is it beautiful, but it's also super fun and interesting. The next question is, what are the books you need to read by the end of the year? All of them. All of my books. I don't really have set goals. Well, that's not true. I want to finish most of my Brandon Sanderson collection. So I have like with Rhythm of War, The Lost Metal, I have Cytonic, and then I would like to also catch up on my reading of The Wheel of Time. Those are like kind of high priorities, but otherwise I just want to read all of my books. And then the last couple of questions I see here are touching into videos that I've made this year, and any goals I have, which I don't also remember doing last year, but super cute, and I will answer them. So if the lighting and stuff changed, my camera died literally while I was about to end the last three questions. So let's run through them fast because I only charged it for a little bit. So let's do this. The video that I stopped at was favorite video you made so far in 2023. And for that, I have two answers. obviously. The first is the Tom DeLonge I read this so you didn't have to video that I made, where I read an alien sci-fi book that Tom DeLonge co-wrote. I had a lot of fun reading this book and reviewing it for you guys, so if you would like to watch that video, I'll leave it linked up above. The second video that I did that I'm really proud of is the Last of Us reading vlog. I have this sort of series on my channel where I read books that remind me of my favorite video games, and one of my favorite video games of all time is The Last of Us, and I read a bunch of zombie apocalypse type of books for that video, and I had a lot of fun. It was quite a big amount of books, so if you would like to see that, because I read a lot of books that are very similar to The Last of Us, I will leave that linked up above as well because I'm really proud of it also. Then a video you thought would flop but did well, the Tom DeLonge video. I really didn't think people were gonna watch it. I really didn't think people were gonna enjoy it, and I'm so proud of the amount of people that watched it, have commented on it. I'm so happy that people were interacting with this video because I really didn't think it was going to do well. I was doing it just for me, and I ended up really having a lot of fun, and I'm happy that people ended up enjoying the video as well. The next question is any upcoming videos you're excited to make. I have some ideas that I'm really excited for. I do plan to do another reading books like my favorite video games this year. It might happen in November just by the way that I have videos planned out, but I'm really excited for that one. And then I also have a really exciting video that I plan to do in September where I'm going to be reading a classic book, comparing it to a smutty book, and a lot of people have made this comparison, so I decided to make a video on it. And if you can guess below in the comments, let me know, but I'm so excited to like read these two books against one another. And then the last question is any channel goals before the end of the year. I would really like to reach 500 subscribers. I've been working really hard this year on my channel and trying to make really interesting content, and this is just a arbitrary goal I have. I've been a small booktuber for a while, so I don't really mind if I don't hit this goal. It would just be something nice to like thank myself for the work and effort I've put in this year. And that's it. That is the mid-year book freakout tag. If you would like to answer any of these questions down below, feel free to do so. If you would like to be tagged, I tag you. And if you would like to follow me on any of my other social medias, I do leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel. It makes me feel really good. And that's it. I don't know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Okay, bye!